Dan Perry here with another Dan on Tech Active Directory video for Northeast State Community College. When you're creating an Active Directory domain, it is very important that you plan ahead, you understand what you're going to do, and probably the most critical thing to do or decision to make is how you're going to name your domain. If that domain is totally internal, nothing will be exposed to the outside world. No web servers, no email, anything like that from the domain with an outside exposure. You can really name it anything you want. But that's not even considered good practice. It's considered good practice to, if it is totally internal, no outside world, to use a .local domain name. So when you're naming it, you'll use a local at the end of the name for that top level. So it could be mydomain.local. If, as is mostly the case, most of the times, that domain has some exposure to the outside world. It may not be much. It may only be a web server and email server. But if there's going to be any exposure to the outside world, then you have to register that domain. You have to have it authorized. You have to get a domain name that you purchase. So you would have something like a top level of a com.net.org. So mycompany.org. And we're familiar with those. Google.com, Cisco.com, Novell.com, Microsoft.com. Those have all been registered. There's also orgs, nets, and now many others, info, biz, those top-level domains. And the cost of those domains run anywhere from about $10 a year to hundreds of dollars a year for some very special domains. But the coms and nets, $10 to $20 a year are very typical. If your web servers are going to be hosted by a web hosting company, the fee for the web hosting may include the registration fee for that top-level domain. So don't just use a domain name that either you don't haven't authorized, you haven't registered, or make sure it is something like a .local that would never be exposed to the outside world. Thank you for watching this Dan on Tech video for Northeast State Community College. Please subscribe to this playlist so you don't miss future videos.